Howdy, tubers and footers. Guess what? The race is still going strong. It's about 2:51 a.m. in the morning, Alaska Standard Time, or Alaska time. And our top teams are in McGrath. Way to go. They're bucking right on down the trail like nobody's business. And I am just chomping away a little chewy pezzes. And I think it's time to crack into this. Morning, Judy Wheeler. Morning. The racers are racing. It's on. So exciting. So let's go ahead and share what I can if I can. Let's see if I can do that. So there was a lot going on with Iron Dog earlier with the fuel. They're still working out some of the details. There's a lot of speculation and a blah, blah, blah going on, but the teams have made it through and they're on their way to McGrath. So, way to go. Let's go ahead and I'm going to share my screen and let you see for yourselves where the teams are. This is so exciting. Thanks for joining me, Judy. All right, let's see here. So we're going to check in with our latest news. Now, remember, they've got the Iron Dog raffle still going on. So get your tickets now, and they will hold the raffle soon. You do not have to be present to win. There is over $100,000 in prizes in this raffle. So get your tickets now. The truck and the trailer are mine. I'm just saying. So, in our news, they have the latest one was the race is on. Galena release times, which were the official release times. So there you go. And our current standings, I'm going to go ahead and try and refresh this again to make sure. See, it is up to date. So there are no current results right now in the standings. So these standings are as of 1:57 a.m. on February 24th, 2023. And our leaders, Team 7 is putting it down. They have put it down this entire race. Way to go, Team 7. Way to go, guys. What a great team. What a great team. I mean, they are so impressive to see. Just, I cannot wait to interview them after the race. So it's going to be exciting to hear some of their stories. So we have got in first place Team 7, Ackelstad and Olstad, the Stads. They are currently on a 12-hour layover in McGrath, headed southbound. So their course time is 45 hours, 16 minutes, and 22 seconds, with a course mile of 2,164 miles on the books, with an average speed of 47.80 miles an hour. Keep in mind, these are average speeds. So way to go, guys. Way to go. Way to keep it clean and steady. A lot of these teams, that is what they're doing. They're riding clean and steady. And in second place, we have Team 14, Boylan and Leslie, with a course time of 46 hours even and 24 seconds. And they are also on their 12-hour layover in McGrath with an average speed of 47.04 miles an hour. In third place, we have Team 39, Barbara Lapham, with a course time of 46 hours, 36 minutes, and 31 seconds. They are also on a 12-hour layover in McGrath, headed southbound, and their course mileage is 2,164 miles as well on the books, with an average speed of 46.43 miles an hour. In fourth place, we have the Miller Brothers Team 23 with a course time of 51 hours and 1 minute and 45 seconds. They are also on a 12-hour layover in McGrath, headed southbound, and their course mileage is 2,164 miles in the books with an average speed of 42.41 miles an hour. In fifth place is Team 2, Kishbaugh Sodasanti, and they have a course time of 51 hours, 51 minutes, and 24 seconds. They are on an 11-hour layover in McGrath with an average speed of 41.73 miles an hour. Our sixth place team is Team 49, Palin Van Wingerden, and they have a course time of 52 hours, 35 minutes, and 8 seconds. They are on an 8-hour layover in McGrath with an average speed of 41.15 miles an hour. Our seventh place team is Team 31, Barber and Summer, with a course time of 52 hours, 16 minutes, and 17 seconds, and they have checked out of Ophir, headed south, with a course mile of 2,122 miles in the books, with an average speed of 40.60 miles an hour. Our eighth place team is Kraus and Strobel, and they have Team 20 with a course time of 53 hours, 51 minutes, and 46 seconds. They have checked out of Ophir, heading south, with a course mile of 2,122 miles on the books, with an average speed of 39.40 miles an hour. Our ninth place team is Team 19, Moore and Temple, with a course time of 46 hours, 55 minutes, and 36 seconds. They have checked out of Ruby, heading southbound, with a course mile of 1,968 miles on the books, with an average speed of 41.94 miles an hour. Our 10th place team is Barber and Conlin, and that is Team 9. They are currently on a 10-hour layover in Ruby, headed southbound, with a course time of 47 hours, 7 minutes, and 48 seconds, with a course mile of 1,968 miles on the books, with an average speed of 41.76 miles an hour. Our 11th place team is Team 8, Guaco and Moen, with a course time of 47 hours, 58 minutes, and 20 seconds, and they have checked out of Ruby, heading southbound, with a course mile of 1,968 miles on the books, with an average speed of 41.02 miles an hour. And our 12th place team is Wold, with a course time, Our 12th place team is Wold, Team 41, with a course time of 48 hours, 38 minutes, and 28 seconds. They have checked out of Ruby, heading southbound, with a course mile of 1,968 miles on the books, with an average speed of 40.46 miles an hour. Our 13th place team is Team 28, Christensen and Potter, with a course time of 62 hours, 15 minutes, and 46 seconds, and they have checked out of Ruby, heading southbound. Their course mileage is 1,968 miles on the books, and they have an average speed of 31.61 miles an hour. And that is Christensen and Potter in 13th place, Team 28. into 14th place is the ladies team, Gossett and Wood, team 16, with a course time of 62 hours, 21 minutes, and 42 seconds. And they have checked out of Ruby, heading southbound, and they are of course mileage of 1,968 miles on the books, with an average speed of 31.56 miles an hour. I was going to say something and my mind just went blank, so I'll just go on. And in 15th place is Team 11 Cobalt Wagner with a course time of 69 hours, 32 minutes, and 32 seconds. And they have checked out of Ruby, heading southbound. And they have a course mile of 1,968 miles on the books, with an average speed of 28.30 miles an hour. So as you see here, between our first and second place teams, let's take a look at the times here, shall we? So when you're looking at these times, right here is the latest time, so 23:19 hours as of 2:23:23. And for team 4, that was team 7. For team 14, it is as of 03:02. So just after midnight. What is that? 3 minutes after midnight, they arrived in McGrath. And so they've got a pretty good lead. Between second and third, there's just a few minutes. About a half an hour. Just over half an hour. So the spread in between these top teams is not that far. Look at that, between 6 and 7. Looks like it's only 7 minutes. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Way to go, guys. Way to go. Let me check in with everybody on Streamer Yarder. Hey, Judy, it's me and you, honey. All right, it's way early for everybody. It's 3:03 a.m. Alaska time. All right, thanks for hanging with me, Judy. Okay, so let's get back, and I'm going to show you the GPS coordinates, and let's see where these racers are actually on the trail. Shabama lama lama. Look at them go. Look at them go. So we've got Barber and Conlon. They are on a layover up here in Ruby. So let's zoom in here. And as you can see, we've got Team 19 heading out of Ruby, heading towards Poor Man. This section that they are in here is very remote. It is super deep. It is that sinking feeling when you realize there is absolutely nothing out there. There is no light pollution from anywhere around. So these teams that are coming through here are staying bunched up pretty tightly, getting through here, which is good to see. This is one of the things when the race itself evolves. There are certain people that don't like it. There are certain people that, champion it. And then there are other people that are kind of on the fence. And I think, as with everything, change is good. And it helps, the race evolve and grow and become better. And, their goal is to bring this more into a spectator sport for people. And in order to do that, they need to keep these teams grouped up, and also for safety reasons, as well as logistics, to get these remote villages manned all the time while they're running. Before, you would see teams spread all over the map and running at all different hours of the night. So this kind of keeps everything more like a staged event. And so there are some people who don't want to see the Iron Dog become a staged event. They really like that hardcore, you know, get from point A to point B on your own kind of merit kind of thing. So there's a lot to be said about change and what's going on with the Iron Dog. And so whenever there is a hiccup in the race, you will see a lot of these arguments pop up in here and there, and these opinions, very passionately become discussed on what they think or how they feel the race should be run. And it's one of those things where unless you're sitting in that seat, it's easy to sit there and judge someone else's decisions and, think you're right. But until you're sitting in that seat, you don't know. So they are doing the best they can with everything they have. Keep in mind, the Iron Dog is staffed on minimal staff, and it is all run completely with volunteers on sponsorship donations. So that's, that says a lot to what they are actually able to accomplish every single year with the help of all these villages, and all these people come together and manage to put on the world's longest and toughest snowmobile race. So be patient with them. That's all I ask. So let's zoom in and take a closer looky here at the pack. So as you can see, we have our teams already in McGrath. And so we have got, our leaders are in there up to team 49. We've got team 31 heading into McGrath right now. Their average mile, this is their actual speed as of 3 minutes ago, was 19.9 miles an hour and 39.3 miles an hour. So, and that was the latest one, because as you can see, it said 0 minutes ago. So that was the most current update. And so that's what they're cruising at. Now we've got team 20 here, and they are going 0.8 miles an hour. So they are probably working through some pretty tough stuff trying to get through it right now. Right here is our over checkpoint. And as you can see, we've got team 41 heading in there right now. And their current, this is as current of an update. And they are going 16.9 miles an hour currently right now, heading into over. And right here towards our, not tail end of the pack, but it is our, our end of our teams coming in here. And so we've got team 11 coming in. And then we've got team 8. And then we've got the women right in here, team 16, and then team 28 heading up to Folger Creek. Now this section here has a lot of open water crossings on these creeks, as you can see. It can be a very dangerous section. This is a lot of deep snow, a lot of areas to get stuck. Some of these creeks are a little dangerous or intimidating to come upon, especially in the wee hours of the night. So as we work our way back up, we are going to find our team 19 heading on down from Ruby. And you can see in Ruby, we have got our team 9, Shane Barber and Troy Conlin, taking a layover. So let's go. I'm going to check in with StreamYard real good. Hey, Pyromedic, how you doing? Morning. Oh, it's 6:03 where you are, Judy. Early morning riser. All right, let's check in with our Iron Dog group on Facebook. As you can see here, here's Team 49 sliding into McGrath. Way to go, Team 49. I cannot wait to talk to Clinton. He seems like such a fun, spirited guy. He's going to be great to talk to. I apologize. It's purring away. They sound good. These sleds are running really good. We have had no scratches since Nome. This is fantastic. This could be the first year that the Iron Dog has less than half the field not scratch, you know? Could you imagine? What a testament to, thank you, Dietrich Nikolai, for your video. Way to go. So there's our team 49 into McGrath. Let's give that an awesome like. A likety-like. Pretty chipper bunch. Look at our Iron Doggers sitting down for some chow time. Thank you, Chelsea Miller, and she is at Inoko Lodge in McGrath. Nummy nummies. Way to go, team. Way to go, guys. All right. Oh, so Tammy Barber an hour ago was asking if anybody was going to be at the Ruby checkpoint when 19 comes in, trying to figure out what's wrong. We're just going to take a quick peeky in here and see. Clutch. Team 19 is having clutch issues. Yowie. Oh, here's Team 2. Thank you, Dietrich. Again, sorry with the volume on this. Wow, they look great. Way to go, guys. Way to go. So as you can see, they've got to get their gear off and do everything they can on the clock. So they're trying to get this stuff off as quickly as possible. So they can yell time. Ooh, there goes time. Way to go, Team 2. Way to go, guys. Man, they've really put that hammer down coming off the coast. Wow. Here's Team 23 into McGrath.
Miller boys!
Whoa, Jesus. Wow. Sorry about that. Chelsea Miller.
Better show them where they're going. Right here?
Thank you.
There.
Right there?
Good job, Larry. Not over there.
Oh, there we go.
Let's see if I can lower this just a bit more. All right. Team 23. Way to go, Miller Brothers. It's Miller time.
All right, Miller boys, come with me.
Way to go, guys. Way to go. All right. And we have got, what is this, Team 39 coming in. Chelsea Miller. All right, I'm not going to watch all of these videos. Please check them out. Here's Team 14. So here is an update 3 hours ago. Guys are having a hard time getting through Tango Creek south of Poor Man. Team 31 spent a lot of time at Tango Creek, and now Team 41 has stopped. So let's look at the comments here. Water over ice. So there's probably some overflow going on there, which is normal. Was really low in a cut bank when we broke that trail out in January. We didn't cross on the trail, but further north, I think the ambassador team shoveled it in, but may have gotten bad with the wet snow and mostly likely overflow. Yes, a bunch of them stuck there. So that's not good. Now keep in mind, Tammy Barber is managing a bunch of teams. She's also managing the women's team out there, I believe, and she has her husband, her 2 sons, and her son, her stepson in, no, not stepson, son-in-law. Sorry, her son-in-law in the race. So she has got all eyes and ears on that trail. All right, so 3 hours ago, Team 7 was into McGrath, and here are our champions into McGrath. I'm so excited. So excited. I can't get the volume to come on now that I've turned it just... There we go. We are going to watch this because this is their team. Yes! Thank you, Chelsea Miller, for supplying these great videos. Now remember, go to the Facebook Iron Dog group page. Way to go! Way to go! Way to go! Yes! Oh, God, those sleds look good too. Dang! Oh, that's so awesome! So awesome. Way to go, guys. Way to go. That is so exciting. So Matthew McCarty talking about today's action through Ruby Checkpoint. My boys had fun giving the racers fist bumps. One even got a pick with Team 2. It was interesting watching them fly up in front of a town. I got a few stuck in the overflow. So, wow. Look at that. Crazy. Melissa Captain. I think it's Captain or Captain from Ruby. Some great pictures of the leaders and the rest of the teams coming through. We got our leaders, our second place teams. And I'm not sure if that's them working on their rear suspension there. And then, all right, so 5 hours ago, Elizabeth Ruby Captain. I had to see the ladies long enough to take picture and wish them well. So here's the women coming in. Look at that. They look great. Their sleds look great. They look strong, healthy, alert. That looks really good. And as you can see, they are tight with Team 28. They're sticking together. So they're not going through those sections alone, which is really good. So you don't have to worry. The women's team are not alone out there. They've got a bunch of the other teams helping them get through sections, and they're helping them get through sections. So it's how it works with the Iron Dog. This is important during all of the hoo-ha going on with the poor man checkpoint. So Stan Brown, who's one of the admins for this Facebook group, has made a comment that to help clear up some of the air out there, the communication headquarters has with poor man checkpoint is limited to one in reach. We do not know what the situation was with the top 3 teams at this time. As soon as they reach their next layover location, the race marshals will be in contact with them. As soon as they reach their next layover location, the race marshals will be in contact with them to address the issues in Poor Man. So let's take a look at these cons. Starlink would have worked well there. We've kind of been joking around, and I put that out there that we should, get Elon involved and get a sponsorship with Elon for the Iron Dog for communication. So Loretta was saying that Starlink barely works in McGrath, especially if the weather is down. Elizabeth Ruby Captain said she just talked with Hillary, and she said Ashley's GPS isn't working well either. Gave her a ride in the truck and got a picture with them. Lucky me. Aw, that's awesome. So Hillary is a basketball star. So she is in a Alaska. I keep forgetting her title. It's not a Hall of Fame athlete, but she is. Oh goodness, I am so sorry. Did I say Ashley? I'm sorry, Hillary. Hillary Gossett is Athlete of the Year. She was named Alaska's Athlete of the Year. I'm not sure which year, but her and that's Hillary. Her and Ashley have been named Channel 2's Athlete of the Week. So that's pretty awesome. That's really poor, man. Talking about poor man. That's funny. The humor is great. Here is a fly over poor man checkpoint. This gives you a view of what that checkpoint looks like. And you can see there's absolutely nothing out there, but there is a team running right there. You can see them right there booking on the trail. Right there. So that is what the poor man conditions look like. Thank you, Thomas Davis, for sharing that. Right here, Nicole Cleaver shared this picture. I love this photo of the women's team. This is a great shot. Look at that. That is a great shot. That is Ashley putting her hand on Hillary's back there. That is a great shot. I think they just came through some rough crap, probably, and they're just there, got you, partner. We got this. So good to see Elizabeth Ruby Captain or Captain. Last of action here in Ruby. Looks like all are laying over. The ladies team 16 and 28 just left. So here they are getting fuel. They look great. Their sleds look great. Colby Esmelka. This is from Galena. Southbound. Right on. Here's Team 8 off to McGrath. This was 7 hours ago. While the teams were being held for the poor man fuel situation, they lost a lot of daylight running time. So a lot of these teams are out there in this kind of condition running. Teams 9 and 20 racing into Ruby. And there's just more people asking about what was going on. Here's a team coming into Ruby. As you can see, these open water sections. Lots of open water. Team 39 in Ruby. That was 8 hours ago. This is from 8 hours ago. And this is Team 14 coming into Ruby. Oh, looks like they have some ski or shock work. Could even be spring. Hard to tell. Let's see if we get a good look here. Huh. All right. Team 31 heading into Ruby. And Elizabeth got too chilly to wait for him and had to head into some warmth. Here's Team 7. Maureen got a shot. Maureen and Victor got a shot of him coming into Ruby. Look at that. Yeah, that's awesome. Brant Bradley. These are some shots from last year. Team 10. And their air support. It's a lot of action and activity for these remote villages during the Iron Dog and during the Iditarod. You know, they get all these planes and people coming through that they normally would never see. And so it's really exciting for them. And it's great for the kids and just the morale in general of these checkpoints and villages. It's a really beautiful thing. I absolutely love the Iron Dog. Todd Smith, welcome, welcome. He's wondering what place Team 9 is in. Let's take a looky, shall we? I will double check and refresh. As of 1:57 a.m., where are we? Let me double check here. That is, let's see where the Barber team is. All right, so it looks like Shane and Barber and Conlon are still on their layover in Ruby. Let me go ahead and share again. Let me show you where they're at. Here's where they're at currently. They are on a layover in Ruby. They're probably going to wait for a day. I'm not sure what's going on with their team right now, but they're going to have more of a daylight run when they come through here, which is probably a really smart choice because this is some nasty terrain to get through, and there's a lot of stuck in this section right here. So right as they come out of Poor Man and right before they get to Ophir is pretty gnarly trail conditions from what we hear. So the majority of our top teams are snoozing away in McGrath after a nice warm meal. They get a hot shower and a cozy bed in McGrath. It's amazing how much the race has evolved, because before, the racers didn't get much layovers. Eating and sleeping were a luxury on the race, and now they get these really long extended layovers, so they're able to get refreshed and able to stay in there as much peak condition as possible, and that helps take away from a lot of the mistakes and things like that from people being overtired, and it just makes the race that much more safe. All right, so let's go ahead and zoom in and see where these teams are at. So we've got Team 20 is heading into McGrath. Team 41 is out of Ophir. So we have right outside of Poor Man, well, not right outside, but kind of in between Poor Man and Ophir right now. We have in the lead in that little section is Team 28. Then we have the ladies, Team 16 right behind them. Then we have Team 8 coming in behind them, and then Team 11. Looks like they're stopped. Oi, so they're in that gnarly section. Yep, so these top ones are going about 20 miles an hour right now, so they're getting through. Team 8 is about 10 miles an hour. Yeah, as you can see, these sections are not easy. So they're very technical getting through here, very technical sections. And again, this is extremely remote. There's nothing out there. There's no light shine, nothing. You have no light pollution from anywhere nearby. So we have Team 19 that have left Ruby, and they are making their way down. And so we have Team 9 are still hanging out in Ruby on their layover. I'm not, let's see. Team 9 on a 10-hour layover as of 1939. So what, about 5:30 here in a couple hours, they should be back on the trail possibly. Let me just refresh this one more time just to make sure. Yep, no new race updates. So keep in mind the racers and the checkpoints. The checkpoints have to get the racers in, get them all fueled up, get their oil, get them all dealt with, whatever needs they have, and then prepare for the next teams coming in. They are not updating automatically right away. So as soon as they get time, then they do their updates into Iron Dog headquarters to where they can process the times. So their GPS coordinates and where they're at is not in sync with the time on the leaderboard. So that can get confusing and frustrating at times, but that is the best way to operate an long distance endurance race like this, so they can ensure that there's no conflicts. That gives it time for, to process all the different things going on. So it's just a good thing. There were, one year I worked on Kronos as getting them a sponsor, and they were fully on board, and it was well over a $250,000 sponsorship, and they were going to supply the timing and staff and all sorts of stuff. And that sponsorship got just, for whatever reason, the director at that time just let it go. And they handle the timing for a lot of the, major races. So that was kind of shocking, as well as for corporations. So, timing. So they had a pretty elaborate timing system. Okay, well, it looks like they're all staying grouped together, which is safe and smart. But when you actually zoom in a little bit, you're going to see they're spread out just a little bit. That's what it looks like. But again, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this replay. I'm going to show you that, how that works. So as you can see, we've got Team 8, 16, 8, 28, and 28. Team 28 is more than likely not this far apart. So when you put your cursor over their icon, you can see here at 0 minutes ago, this is when 28A, Eric Christensen's GPS pinged. And boom, see? And they're just, every time they ping, they get this little flash update. So as you can see here, Charlie Potter's hadn't updated for 11 minutes. So his is way back here as opposed to being up here with his teammate. So that does not mean they are that far apart on the trail. That just means their GPS they're set to like 8-minute interval pings. So, and that's to try and keep the traffic down on the satellite. Each GPS is pinging at a different time. So that kind of helps on the load for all that data. So see, right there, it synced them up. So as you can see, Team 28 is right here. The GPS ping is about a minute apart, but there they are, closer together. And then you've got Team 8. Looks like Team 8 has passed the women's team. I hope the women are... Yeah, they're doing good. They're cruising. They're doing good. They're just a few miles an hour, only about 7 miles an hour. Slower than Team 8 right now. So they're doing really good. I'm telling you, they are doing good. I think what their goal is to finish. They are not pushing it in any way, shape, or form. They are just running clean and steady. And so that's a good strategy. All right, well, maybe they haven't been passed by Team 8. So here's the latest ping on Hillary's GPS. It's hard to say. They're pretty close. They're neck and neck right now. That's interesting and fun. Okay, let's see here. So there you go. There's our spread right now. Shabama-lama. They are from Ruby to McGrath. All right, let's check in with our tubers and footers. Hard with cold hands, will they be able to switch out the clutch? They will have to do that on the trail. So that is part of, depending on what parts they can and cannot get, depends on what they'll be able to pull off out there, but they do not get a garage. I don't think. Again, we've still got these rules to go through. So maybe that's just be a good time to go through these. We've just got a few more left. We're in the driver requirements section. So, Gary Spike Sr., good to see you, buddy. Did you see that about Chinese balloon and the strange things happening? There's some weird stuff going on. That's for sure. All right. Have the Northern Lights been active up there? Yes, Pyromedic, they have been. Sadly, we have been under cloud coverage, so we haven't been able to get them. But there have been a lot of amazing photographs here in the past week with the colors, like the full spectrum from pinks and reds and greens, and just incredible shots. So that's pretty awesome. Good morning, Bradley Hatcher. Good to see you. Good to see you. Our teams are spread from Ruby to McGrath right now. That's pretty exciting. So this is one of the races where they've kind of tried to make it to where the teams get into their checkpoints, and it's turned into somewhat of a staged event to where they get into these major checkpoints and hold over and then go out in their timed orders and stuff like that. But they kind of had a little hiccup in the race today. And so that's kind of spread the field out. And it's pretty exciting, pretty cool to see. So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. We're going to go ahead and double check and see if we've got any new updates. Nope, no updates on our standings as of this time, but our GPS has the teams. They are making their way to over this section. Almost all of our lead teams are into McGrath. So all the way up to 49. And Team 20 right now are heading towards McGrath. And we've got Team 41, the Wold team, heading towards McGrath right now. Very exciting. So these teams that are on the trail right now, they cannot take a layover in Poor Man or Ophir. So once they leave Ruby, they have to make it all the way to McGrath. And again, this section that they are on is extremely remote. There is nothing in here. There are no near towns and stuff like that. They are really, really remote. There's absolutely no light pollution. They're out in the Tules out here. They are on their own. Yeah, so their pilots aren't flying. So the women do have air support. I believe it's Hillary's husband is flying air support for them. So that's an awesome thing. Woohoo! What do we got here? Gary Spike Sr. Bradley will be real happy this afternoon, heading for the woods for 4 days. Oh, wonderful. Oh, happy belated birthday, Bradley. Happy birthday. Is that your birthday trip? You taking a birthday trip out into the woods? Good on you. Good on you. All right, I am going to go through, let's get through some of this driver requirements. Let's see how far we can get. So the third section of the Iron Dog 2023 Pro Class rules, the driver requirements, driver liability. General, the participant and any crew in signing the entry elects to use the course of the event at their own risk and thereby releases Iron Dog Race Inc. together with their heirs, assigns officers, representatives, agents, employees, members, sponsoring organization, and owners of properties on which sanctioned events are to be held from all liability from injury to person, property, and/or reputation that may be received by said entrant, and from all claims of said injuries to the parties listed above, growing out of or caused by any construction or condition of the course over which the event is held. Participants are strongly encouraged to obtain personal liability and accident insurance. Required participant protective equipment. Here we go. So, General, it is the responsibility of the participant to select protective equipment that will conform to Iron Dog guidelines and provide adequate protection. Even though race rules committees have developed specific guidelines, Iron Dog Race Inc. does not endorse, guarantee specific products or manufacturers of protective equipment. Racers must rely on their own judgment in the selection of helmets and other apparel for protection and durability. Regardless of a participant's apparel passing prior inspections, compliance with the rules must be made at post-race inspections. Helmet padding and shell must remain in as manufactured condition and meet the latest standards. So they've got the Snell standards and the European standards. Helmets must be securely fastened at all times. Adequate Arctic clothing, including face mask, gloves, boots, and handlebar gauntlets. Eye protection in the form of goggles and/or face shields is mandatory. If corrective lenses are required to drive a motor vehicle, it will be required for event participation. The use of upper body protection equipment is mandatory and must meet ISR standards for upper body protection. That is not like when Missy and I ran, they didn't have those restrictions. Shin and knee guards are mandatory on both legs. The shin guard must extend from the instep to above the kneecap and be constructed of an impenetrable material. Survival equipment. General survival equipment, as described herein, will be inspected prior to the start, in Nome, and at the finish line, and/or at the discretion of the race marshal team at any time during the event. All clothing must be in sealable, waterproof containers. All participants must carry on their person or their snowmobile the following: one sleeping bag certified capable of providing protection to -20 degrees Fahrenheit. Must cover the participant from head to toe. We have had years where teams think they're smart and they'll cut their sleeping bags in half to save room, and the things that these racers have done to try and cut space and weight and all sorts of things is insane sometimes. So that's why they've had to add that in there. Insulating film must be equally distributed throughout the bag, so you can't bring some old shabby thing that hardly has any insulation in it. The sleeping bag cannot be altered and must be able to fully zip with the participant inside, so you can't bring your kid's sleeping bag. One substantial rip-stop nylon bivy bag, no space blankets or equivalent. Adequate Arctic protective clothing with spare layers that include moisture-wicking socks, upper and lower body thermals, spare set of face and eye protection, fire-starting materials, at least 20 matches or 2 lighters carried in waterproof containers, 3 aerial signal flares with current date and or approved emergency signal laser and or approved emergency strobe light with spare batteries, one flashlight with spare batteries, one drive belt with sufficient tools to replace, one GPS or map and compass for navigation, current first aid and CPR certification cards. All teams, expedition class per 2 riders, must carry the following: one hatchet or saw, first aid kits that meet or exceed the acceptable kits listed on the Iron Dog website, Arctic stove with sufficient fuel reserves. Arctic stove definition is a stove that will operate at sub-zero temperatures and or windy conditions. Pan or cup to melt snow and boil water with a minimum of a 1 pint capacity. 25 feet of 1,200-pound test or stronger rope. Tools for infield repairs, approximately 5 pounds. Recommended equipment, not required. Snow shovel, maps and compasses for redundant navigation aids, spare batteries that work well in cold conditions for all equipment, auxiliary fuel tanks. Iron Dog Race Inc. strongly encourages all participants to wear helmets that display high-vis colors over 75% of the surface area. Sufficient emergency use food. Code of conduct. In the spirit of good sportsmanship, all participants must adhere to the following. Participants will always conduct themselves in a prudent and respectful manner. Participants must obey all local, state, and federal laws. No fighting, vulgarity, derogatory, or offensive language will be tolerated. Negative publicity from any participant will not be tolerated. Participants shall be aware of their surroundings. Actions should be taken as to not impede a faster team approaching from the rear. Expedition class teams will defer to any pro class teams at all checkpoints. All participants are required to stop and render aid to any persons encountered during the race who are in a life-threatening situation. Race marshals may adjust trail times accordingly on a case-by-case basis. All participants aware of an injury and or damaged snowmobile shall relay the appropriate information to the race officials at the next checkpoint. It is the responsibility of each participant to inform their friends, family, and support crew of the race rules and procedures to ensure no violations occur. Any race team, friends, family, or support crew who commits an act with malicious intent to sabotage the efforts of other racers may immediately be disqualified and subject to future fine, penalty, and sanctions. Snowmobile requirements. This is section 4. All snowmobiles must meet industry standard noise limit of 88 decibels. The SAE standard test may be used to determine compliance if aftermarket parts are not certified. Two-stroke engine, 600cc maximum displacement. The engine must be based on OEM 600cc production crankshaft, connecting rod, piston, cylinders, and cylinder head. Any disputes will be determined by compliance with ISR stock rules. So they are trying to keep all the sleds the same cc. So they keep them all at that 600cc for the two strokes. They do allow 4 strokes in the Iron Dog. So for the 4-stroke engines, 1050cc maximum displacement. Engine must be based on OEM production crankshaft, connecting rod, piston, cylinders, and cylinder head. Any disputes will be determined by compliance with ISR stock rules. So those are the 2 cc allowed in the Iron Dog. That's it. Can't bring a 440. Can't bring your 800. So they are running a little shorty track through this trail. Keep that in mind. You're not running big old long tracks. Okay, an adequate and functional return spring on the throttle is required. Engines will have OEM tags and/or serial numbers affixed to the engine and chassis. The numbers must be submitted to the race marshal team before the safety inspection. Headlight, windshield, tail, and brake lights, snow flaps, and clutch guards must be in a safe condition when leaving each checkpoint. They cannot leave a checkpoint without those things in working order. So imagine if your tail light is broken and you cannot get a part to fix it, and that's why you've scratched. You better bring them. A working helmet light with a tail brake light feature such as a lead dog helmet light will suffice for lights until the main system is repaired. All snowmobiles must have carbide runners and studded tracks, a minimum of 2 studs per track bar. All snowmobiles must have a current state snowmobile registration decal. The condition of the snowmobile is the responsibility of the racer. GPS tracking systems. Iron Dog Racing requires each participant to install an Iron Dog supplied GPS tracking unit on their snowmobile. Participants are required to install units for optimum performance as directed by Iron Dog officials. Participants may be liable for replacement costs on lost or intentionally damaged GPS units. There has been times where some racers have a shortcut and they don't want to share it, and they have tampered with their GPS to avoid it showing up. Participants must return Iron Dog provided GPS units within 30 days of the finish or will lose their deposit. Section 5, Race Course. Here's the good stuff. All participants are reminded that unless otherwise marked, the race course is a public use trail and is not protected. Other trail users and/or animals can be expected running with or against the race direction. All other trail users, including sled dog teams, always have the right of way. It is the rider's responsibility to conduct themselves in a positive manner to assure continued use of the historic Iditarod Trail. When the proper etiquette for any snow machiner is to stop and shut your engine when a dog sled team is when you come nearest Ted, if they're coming by, whatever, because you don't want to spook the dogs and things like that. Dogs, they are used to snow machines. They're not easily spooked on most cases, but there was a year where a spectator, for whatever reason, after the Iron Dog start, went down the trail like a maniac and ended up hitting a Iditarod racer who was out training for the Iditarod and killed some of their dogs and just kept on going. It was a horrible, horrible situation. And so the Iron Dog and most of the racers and the organizations that are involved, all of the sponsors, especially Team CC, promote safe, smart, and good manners while riding. So, race course. All participants are reminded that unless otherwise marked, the race course is okay. Already, blah, blah, blah. Iron Dog will have express checkpoints. Participants do not have to stop at these checkpoints, but must slow to allow for recording of passage. So they do that to make sure that they are on designated sections of the trail. If you don't get through there, Racers must follow the marked trail designated by the race marshal from the start of the Susitna River. Between Squentna Roadhouse and Puntilla, the Squentna River is off limits as determined by the ordinary high water mark. And then they put that number in there, defined by the ordinary high water mark as that line on the shore established by the fluctuations of water as indicated by physical characteristics such as a clear, natural line impressed on the bank, shelving, changes in the character of soil, destruction of terrestrial vegetation, the presence of litter and debris, or other appropriate means that consider the characteristics of the surrounding areas. Between Puntilla and Roan, participants must travel through Ptarmigan Pass. Rainy Pass is off limits. Between Roan and Nikolai, the South Fork of the Kuskokwim River is off limits downstream from the Post River. Between Roan and Nikolai, participants